I it's so good to talk to you anyway, but I just really wanted to see what it is that you like about summer camp because I'm trying to be a camp counselor and I figure who better to ask than the people who are performing. I know why I love it. It's all these people and the reason for living anymore is all the people I've run into and met throughout music. But how do you feel
Yeah.
about summer camp?
I mean, for Aquia, summer camp has sort of become an institution. Like we've played every summer camp now since 2013, and it's been really cool over the years to sort of have our experience change and play the different stages and meet different people. And I mean, it's funny that it's called summer camp because I feel like it's almost the closest thing for me that feels like an actual summer camp of like going back each summer and seeing all your friends.
Yeah.
And the lineups are always so good and so diverse that I'll go there and it's like, and usually it's in earlier in the season, so it's usually one of the first events that after like a while of not seeing all my touring friends and stuff, I can go there
Yeah.
and like hang out with the homies, and people are, the energy is always so high like amongst the fans, and people are, there's just such a great energy there. And like some of my favorite experiences as a musician have happened at summer camp. And there's been all these kind of defining moments for the band too. So
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of an understatement to say it's special to me.
Yeah. Okay. So what I know my favorite sit-in set, like collab set was Dookie. That's when I like really like I had known of Aqueous, right? Like I had seen you guys on the campfire stage, I'm fairly certain, or maybe the
Yeah,
camping stage, I'm not sure, over the years, but what 2017, I believe, was the
yeah,
Dookie set.
it
And
was.
I was just like, who is this guy on stage with my two favorite people? Because it was what, Stasek and Chris or whatever. And
Yeah, yeah.
and then you guys slayed it. Like you killed it. I was front row by myself because all of my friends are considerably younger than me and did not care about the Dookie set. And I was like,
Yeah,
this is
right.
middle school for me, you guys.
Yeah, certain people age out for the Dookie set, but those, it was amazing because the people that knew, you could tell. I mean, it just meant so much to them, and like I've never seen before or after like that many hippies like raging and like little mosh pits forming, and that, I mean, for sure I look at that as like probably my personal favorite memory, just because I also have that same nostalgia attached to that record.
Yeah.
And so that's part of my past. And then, growing up an Humphreys fan, I mean, those guys are about 10 years older than I am. And so, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was already seeing their band a bunch. And so
Yeah.
they were very special to me anyways. And so that was sort of the first moment where, kind of joining forces with an influence of mine
Yeah.
was like a huge honor for me. And then to have it over that shared love of that record was really special, and probably some of the most like pure joy I've experienced, because like you just can't, how do you not just have the most fun ever? Like, I'm playing some of my favorite music that like really defined who I was with
Yeah.
some of the musicians that defined who I was. And so, it was definitely a really special moment for me. And, and it's cool because what was born out of that is a new band. I started this new band over quarantine with Stacey called Death Kings.
Yeah.
And it's me and him and Mikey Karuba from Turquoise. And it started because of that Green Day thing where Stacey and I realized we had this really all these shared bonds over like heavier rock and roll and punk and skate music and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean that was, I owe that even to that moment at summer camp.
Yeah. That's so freaking cool. Like that, I'll never forget that. That was definitely one of my like most memorable sets of all time at summer camp too, honestly. And it just was because it was so unique. It was like, and like you said, like bunch of tripping hippies fucking getting down to greet it. And those songs are so fast. Like after you're going to see jam bands all weekend, and then these Green Day songs are like a minute and a half. You're like, holy shit!
Well, that
Like
was
they already covered a whole album.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to summer camp for letting us do that too, because like you said, it's definitely not really in the vein of the jam stuff, and I think that's actually why it worked, is because it was so different, like
Yeah.
and it was cool to have that presence, in that atmosphere. But yeah, exactly what you said. I mean, we when we went to rehearse it, we ran the album. I was backstage at a show I think in Baltimore that Aqueous was opening for Humphreys, and I was, I remember we ran the album all the way through once, and it was like it went fine, but we were like, okay, that's like 35 minutes of music. Like what now what? Because
No.
I think it was like an hour and a half slot. So I think I ended up actually learning like 36 or 37 songs
Yeah.
just to fill the time slot. Because and we in the beginning too, because also I don't know if a lot of people know, but that was my first time playing with those guys. So we didn't have like a huge musical rapport, trust, but
Yeah.
we built through that experience. But we thought we wanted to stick to sort of the ethos of the punk thing and really not improvise too much, which is
Yeah.
funny because later on when we did it, we started stretching shit out and getting crazy with it. But in the beginning, we are like, what would they do? And they're like, they'd play a bunch more songs. So
Yeah,
like,
I remember you guys played Weezer, like the sweater song or something, I think.
yeah, we did like Weezer and like there was some Ween in there and some old Ramones and maybe Sex Pistols or something. And then later on when we did it, we kept getting heavier and heavier. Like we did one later on in Nashville after an Humphrey show, and we started doing like Fugazi and Pennywise and like just a lot, and it just kept getting progressively heavier, which is funny because Death Kings now is like some of the heaviest music I've ever been a part of. Like, and I like that seems to be the path. Like, it's just getting darker and darker.
Seriously, I can't wait. I cannot wait for Death Kings. I'm just gonna keep feeling Death Kings at the Mishawaka, Death Kings at the Mishawaka, like into eternity.
Manifest that shit. You never know. But that's we're getting close on a big project for that, so it's coming.
Good. That's exciting. Shoot. Well, and do you think that there would be a chance for that at summer camp, or is it going to be too hard to cram in?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's not impossible.
Yeah.
It'd be rad if we could. I just there's a lot of. I feel like especially this year, there's a lot of logistics, unexpected logistics that all of the musicians are running into right now with everything opening back up so suddenly. So I think that is playing a big role. But if that can be worked out and there's a good situation with summer camp, I mean, I think all of us are down. So it's not a no. It's a maybe.
That would be rad. That would be rad. Mikey seems nice. I don't know him, but he seems.
Oh, he's the nicest. He's great, and he's a lot of people don't know this, but him and his family are from Buffalo, New York. So
really,
we share that connection, and this band is like a perfect culmination of people because it's all people that really like believe in the spirit of rock and roll.
I love
and
that.
Like he very like those two, Stasik and Mikey, like they really embody that, and like it's going to be an explosive energy like when we all get together and do this for real. Like there's just a lot of stoke, a lot of hype. Like we call each other just so fucking stoked about stuff, like when we're working on ideas or recording things, be like, wow, this is like, I'm getting giddy right now. I need to like calm myself down.
I know, I have goosebumps. I'm like, I'm ready for this. I mean, because I'm definitely a hater in the jam scene. I try not to be, I really do, but like I'm not into the fluffy shit. Like, I mean, okay, if there's dynamics involved, if there's heavy and fluffy, I can get on board with the fluffy all day. But if you're just putting out fluff after fluff after fluff after fluff, I'm like, I can't. It's too floaty. It's too fluffy. There's not enough like grit. You know what I mean? With some of these bands, I won't be a hater too hard, but it's just like I look for that metal and they don't all bring it. That's I think why I love Aqueous too, because I could just you can hear that 90s grit in your songs, playing.
And that's cool. I'm sort of the different strokes for different folks vibe, because we're all different, and we all different things will resonate.
Well, and that's what I mean. I'm not hating on the music that they make. It's just not for me.
Right. And I think that's a great distinction, and that's okay. Like it's whatever works for you, and that's awesome. And for sure, the 90s like heavy shit is like just in our DNA 1,000%. Like I can't take that out of my blood. You know what I mean? It's just in there. I cut my teeth like learning like Nirvana songs on guitar and Smashing Pumpkins and then Blink 182 and Green Day and all that shit. And then so and I'm glad that comes through, and it's cool because with Aqueous, we're kind of getting back to those roots right now. We're just finishing up some new music that we're going to debut really soon, maybe as soon as this weekend, and like it's heavier, which is exciting.
That's exciting because your last album was not very heavy. Your last, like, Burn It Down is very, it wasn't fluffy. I wouldn't say fluffy. It was more like 80s pop, right? Like 80s, not pop maybe, but I don't know how to explain.
Yeah, I think it was definitely more pop influence. Like it was
Yeah.
more melodic, it was more catchy and hooky and stuff like that. And
I
for
love
us, that record was us like trying to see if we could write concise, short songs, and if we could like be if we could get inside of that thing, because that's a lot of the music that we're influenced by too. Like half of the '90s shit that we love is that, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And like for us, like tapping into like the Strokes and Queens of the Stone Age and some of these other influences, and just seeing what it felt like in Beck and Cake and all that shit, like, and just seeing if we could do that. And it was a cool challenge, and it's neat because now I feel like some of that trickles in to like we're kind of combining the new and old now. We're like there's all now we're kind of getting back to our prog roots with lots of like guitar harmonies and shreddy parts and stuff, but then it's still like catchy as fuck, you know, like, and so it's been really fun recently to like kind of figure out a balance between the two, you know.
I love that. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I don't want to eat up your whole day. I really appreciate you meeting with me.
Oh yeah, I'm glad we could do this. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I was so stoked. Hopefully, fingers crossed for Peach for one, but like then summer camp too, because I have a feeling if these things are happening, it's only a matter of time. So just like,
Yeah, we'll see. We gotta just hope for the best.
yeah, we'll just yeah, keep on hoping. If not, the 20th anniversary in 2022 will be killer.
That's right. It'll be sick.
Oh man. Well, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate you.
Anytime. Let me know if there's anything else I can do.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Say hi
Uh,
to Liz. I hope she feels better soon.
will do. I'm about to go shop for her and bring her stuff to leave outside of her door.
Oh, you're so good. Bye. Maybe. I can't, my computer's broken, so
I'm leaving. Bye.
bye.